Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to another commercial live series presented by Aelius LED. My name is Ryan Kirwan. I'm the CEO of the company, and this series is here to promote our happy clientele, and in some cases, both of them here today. Without further ado, I'd like to introduce you co-founders of Prairie Grass, Rebecca Thompson and Olivia Penner. Ladies, thank you for joining us.
Great to be here.
How would we start with just a little bit about yourself? You both looking at the website, you both come from a farming background. What made you decide to farm what everybody is looking for in the industry today?
Absolutely. So if you follow us at all, on social or, check out the website, you can see that we actually do come from a farming background. So Olivia and I are both fourth generation farmers now on our farm here in Southern Alberta. And we've always just had such a passion for the farm. We've loved it. It's our home and it's our roots. And we always knew that we wanted to be coming back to the farm. And in the time that we were away, both of us pursued careers in the healthcare field. So I'm a pharmacist and Olivia is a registered nurse. And so through that, we, really got to experience the medical needs in our community. We had a really amazing opportunity to work with a lot of medical patients as well as they navigated the cannabis space throughout the years before legalization. And it was through that experience that we decided that we wanted to come back to the farm and diversify in cannabis cultivation. In the generations prior, obviously everybody has really put their imprint on the farm. My dad has done some pretty amazing things in the years that he has been on the farm and has taken over. And so for us, we just thought it was a really incredible and unique opportunity for us to diversify the farm and to kind of meld those two skills together.
Yeah, no kidding. I mean, because at the end of the day, like you said, you guys both had, you could both basically have fabulous careers in the pharmaceutical or nursing industry. That ties in really well with where this cannabis plant takes us, and where we're trying to remove the stigma from the psychoactive part of the plant to the benefits and the CBD and the CBGs and all that end of it. Where do you guys see yourself as far as the industry goes, and how can you help guide the medical patients in the right direction?
Absolutely. I think for us, our experience in the healthcare field has really just shown us that cannabis has an opportunity to be a whole plant medicine and really just has an opportunity to help patients in ways that our, traditional medicine perhaps falls short. And so in our experience, we have just been able to see that patients have used cannabis as a way to really just take control of their health and wellness. And I think, use that in a way that is more of a holistic approach to managing their conditions and managing their health. And so, from our perspective, I think it's really incredible the backgrounds that we do have in pharmacy and nursing, because we're able to see, the pharmacological implications, or, from Olivia's perspective, the physiological and how cannabis works with your body. And I think that for us to bring that knowledge in and, combine it with the cultivation side of things, that it kind of offers us a unique perspective.
Very unique perspective. And we always wonder here too, how do you remove that stigma or get the doctors on board? Because right now a lot of doctors are not on board, right? And that's always going to be the next step, is to try to get them on board to actually figure this out, that, yeah, you know what, there are some benefits to this. And as a pharmacist, we can tell you, if you're taking this drug, well, maybe you can wean you off this and get you into this. Until that's there, or until the doctors jump on board with this, I don't know, as far as medically goes, you're always going to have that little stigma set aside, and it's not going to be pushed forward as much as it should. Where do you see the challenges in that regards, or in your experience? Where have you seen the ability to actually help patients out without the doctor's blessings?
In our local community, there are physicians not necessarily against cannabis. It's just more that in their clinical practice, they really look for that evidence-based research and controlled trials. And that's something that I think is really limited in the space right now. Part of that is due to regulation. One of the areas that we really want to strive and work in here in the next year and some is in that research area, and bringing that past that anecdotal level. A lot of what physicians are seeing are patients going out on their own and trying products and then coming back and saying, well, actually, I did this and I used this CBD product and it's really helped with these symptoms. And so a lot of what physicians are seeing is just patient anecdotally trying it out on their own. So what we really want to do with the products that we're bringing are put forward products that physicians would be comfortable prescribing. So having those standard doses, something that they can say, here, take this twice a day and titrate it up or down based on what your needs are. And so we have been really fortunate to work with some incredible physicians who have decades of experience in working with patients and prescribing cannabis that have given us some fantastic feedback on just the education that we're going to be putting out there, and especially into the products that we're formulating here.
Well, that's great, and that's great that you've been able to touch this, and probably because of your background, you've been able to forge that wedge into that medical field. Speaking of products, what kind of products do you guys have on the market right now that you feel everybody should know about?
Well, right now, actually, we have our dried cannabis on the market. So we are so excited to be partnered with Shelter Market in bringing originally our dried cannabis to their medical marketplace. And then just recently here now in May to the provinces of Alberta and Ontario. So we've actually, kind of went through a whole process of phenotyping and strain selection in the facility. And so our Bruce banner is the one that was settled on, and it's a really incredible cultivar and, kind of has all of the amazing notes and, flavors and everything that we want to see in it. So right now that is going on to the provincial markets, and we've just had really incredible feedback. It's just kind and generous and amazing the way that people have shared their experiences, and it's definitely made all of our hard work.
Brightens the week.
Yeah, absolutely. It makes cultivation worthwhile when you've got consumers that are so willing to share their experiences.
Yeah, you're right. And genetics is such an important part of a decent flower or an extract. You mentioned Ontario. You guys actually got into Ontario as well, too?
We are through Shelter Craft Collective. So
okay.
They are offering our product under the Craft Collective brand. And so right now it's in Ontario in 3.5 gram and then a 10 pack of pre-roll formats. So,
nice.
So we were incredibly excited to be selected along with Shelter there in the market. And it's been really awesome reviews so far. And hopefully, we can continue on there and continue to build relationships in the Ontario market, and especially as we start moving here into our 2.0 product and the more.
That's a great segue. I know you guys have your processing license. What do you see in the future as far as processing coming from Prairie Grass?
As far as processing from Prairie Grass, that is something that we've been working on here over the last 12 months that we have been licensed. So as Olivia had mentioned, we're really focusing on formulating products that are going to be making a difference in patients' lives and in the wellness side of things. So as much as, we obviously are just as ardent of rec consumers as any out there, we really do have a passion for the wellness focus. And for our formulation, we've definitely been focusing really heavily on product formats that are going to be more of a dose based and a I don't want to say non-psychoactive, but more of like a non-drowsy formulation so that people can use it consistently throughout the day. And, those consumers that are, perhaps more like the elderly patients or, women who are struggling with, endometrial conditions or, inflammatory bowel patients, people who, want to be able to continue to move throughout their day, can utilize cannabis in a way that it's, not currently available in the market.
Okay, that's great. And as far as the ratio from THC to CBD, are you talking about 0 THC and mostly just CBD, or are you focusing on that?
Well,
a little bit of a blend. So we are partnered with our family farm, obviously, that we're centered in the middle of. So we cultivate high cannabinoid hemp with a partner out of Coaldale. And that's part of our input that actually comes into the facility. So we grow that hemp outdoors, and it's all hand harvested and hand hung to dry and hand trimmed. So a little bit of manual labor in that sense, but it all comes in through our vetted quality assurance process. And so that is our base for our CBD products that will be coming to the market. We really make sure that's quality input that is coming in. It's fantastic flower that's grown outside. We put a lot of care and attention into it. So a lot of our products are going to be, to start with, that higher CBD ratio.
Like a 30-to-1.
A 30-to-1,
approximately.
Yeah. We do have a 10-to-1 THC product coming out. And then actually an interesting one, it'll be a THCA oil, so that inactivated THC, some incredible anti-inflammatory properties to it. Also that non-drowsy. And then obviously our dried flower, which is the higher THC product. But
we don't want to give out too much as we're, kind of like working here. This next few weeks is going to be kind of a big push for getting a lot of the product information out. But we're very excited about the products that are going to be coming here in September.
Well, that's great. Now, there's a lot of talk about the CBD, and there's so many different cannabinoids in that plant. Somebody asked me about CBG. What is? Are you guys familiar with the CBG part of the cannabinoids?
Yeah, it's actually fairly, the States always seems a little bit more advanced than us. They've been coming out with CBG formulations for over a year now, but CBG, from the research that we've been seeing, is very particular for bowel patients. So our variety has a little bit of CBG. It's about 1%, I believe, in it. There are a lot of cultivars stateside. I guess one of our challenges in Canada right now with IHR regulations is it's quite an extensive approval process, and the people developing the seed have to work with CIA, CFIA, and Health Canada. So we are involved with an incredible breeding program that's really working to bring those full profile of cannabinoids, but it's a bit of a timely process with breeding, and you have to have 4 cycles and then the approval process. So we really are hoping to get varieties down the road here that have really well-rounded and robust profiles that we can have that transparency on our labels for our patients, so they know exactly what cannabinoids they're getting.
Yeah. And from our perspective as well, on the medical side of things, like you mentioned there, it's so important that you do have that full cannabinoid profile. There are a lot of distillates and isolates on the market, and from our experience and a lot of feedback that we've received from patients and physicians, it's so incredibly important to have that whole plant medicine and, the whole collection of cannabinoids and terpenes that comes along with the flowers. So that's definitely everything that we're using to formulate our products is coming from that whole plant extract.
Yeah, and you're so knowledgeable in this field that I just find that for the newbies out there, it's legal now, I'm going to try it, or I'm going to give this a shot with see if my knee's going to feel better, if I'm going to sleep better at night, or if I have less anxiety during the day. People need that direction, and I find that going to your retail store, you're not getting that direction right now. No offense to the bud tenders, right? But all these bud tenders, they do not have your background, right? And I know there's some pharmacies or pharmaceutical industry is trying to get into it more and more, but I think people would feel a lot more comfortable speaking to you ladies than they might be going to the bud tender who says, well, you know what, this is a higher percentage THC, this is going to work, right? So
that's all part of the evolution of the cannabis industry as well. I know we've had the opportunity to connect with so many different bud tenders, and they are so passionate about the cannabis plant, and they want to learn more. They are so eager for any opportunity to learn more about the products that they are selling, and the different forms out there. So that's really going to be a big push for us here in this next months as we do bring these products to the market, is really equipping bud tenders and those point of sale opportunities with more of that pharmaceutical and physiological background. As Livy said, we are really restricted in how we can educate about the products and the cannabis plant. And so from our perspective, we really are focusing a lot of our education that we're going to be coming out with on, the pharmacokinetics, like how does cannabis interact with your body? How do those receptors work? How do the different cannabinoids interact? Because those are all, physiological facts, and, you can definitely move forward with educating on those points.
Yeah, absolutely. You're right. Very good point. It is an evolution. We're at the beginning. You guys definitely got in with your on the ground floor, and I think over the next few years, you're really going to see it take off. And for the ones that are starting out small, right, just like yourself, and slowly growing and expanding, as we've seen over the past 30 months here with our company, I think you guys are definitely taking it the right direction. education is key. I think we need more of you in this industry than the white collars, and I'm a white collar guy myself, right? So all these white collars got to be open-minded. I think you guys are off to a great start. Where do you guys see yourself for the next few years? Expansion? You looking at different, maybe franchising, different provinces, or is that too far ahead?
So honestly, in the next few years, we would really love to see our product suite, just expand throughout all of Canada. Right now, as our partnerships and, as our sales and distribution channels work, we're really focusing on that medical side of things. But we are so excited to be able to start moving into the provinces as well, just because, I think so many of these products are that wellness focus. And there are a lot of people who, maybe are not, ready to go to their physician, or maybe they, do want to just be able to access it recreationally. And so I think having that education out there and having that information out there and having those wellness focused, products is so important. And we're really going to just continue to, push better education and more information and, just that idea that whole cannabis medicine really makes a difference in people's lives. And I think, the more that message can get outside of even just the cannabis community into, the wellness community as a whole, is really a big goal of ours.
Yeah, very good. I have a comment here from Ab Singh. He says, "Hi, Rebecca and Olivia. A student of mine in class in Nova Scotia got some of PGI's BB." So I'm assuming that's your Bruce banner.
Yes.
Best they've ever had, and loved your packaging.
Oh, awesome. Amazing. Thank you so much.
It's a shout out to Shelter for the packaging.
Oh, absolutely. The creative team at Shelter is absolutely incredible. And we've been so pleased to be partnered with them just because they value transparency above all. And so the packaging has been so well received. And I think it's just because it's information that people really want to see. They want to know the taste. They want to know the flavor. They want to know who their growers are. And we actually giggled the other day. Someone was like, "There's everything except for our dog's name." And then they had posted up some pictures of Patsy, our golden retriever. And we're like, "Her name is Patsy." Yeah.
Well, that's one of the hard parts about being in the commercial cannabis industry right now. It is packaging and marketing. Mm-hmm. People don't realize how hard it is to come up with something that is attractive but not attractive. Right.
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
According to the government, besides packaging, what other trials or what other tribulations and trials have you had in the industry that you've seen so far that maybe the audience who's thinking about getting into a micro or a standard LP might be able to learn from?
Absolutely.
Well, we started our process about 3 years ago. So we started with the ACMPR and then it transitioned. So we went through quite a bit of regulatory shift as we went through. We often laugh, there were no guidance documents until after. But I would say the biggest thing for people starting up is surround yourself with a fantastic support network. We've often said how many times we're so grateful for being able to connect with small licensed producers that were willing to share the information that they gained along the way. So that's honestly a really big thing, is supporting yourself with people that will help you along your journey. Again, connecting yourself with fantastic companies. We always give shout outs to the ones that we love working with. Aelius, you guys are amazing. We've been really fortunate to connect with a really great building management and HVAC company, Stratus Designs, and they really helped us throughout the process. So one thing that we've said is make sure that you really are set on your design before you're going out into your build. Yeah. Because Health Canada requires you have your building there. So the more ducks you can have in a row with your building and your process and your flow, the better and easier and smoother the transition is as you go through it.
Yeah, excellent advice. And girl, I would love to spend more time speaking with you. I think the audience can take a lot home from you guys, and who knows, maybe we'll have you back another time. We do have to move on from this conversation, but we will continue the conversation off camera as well too down the road, as I know you are going forward with some expansion and you're ready to move on with the next stage, I guess. And that's another thing that I see all the time too. People try to go too big too fast and they end up failing. You got to walk before you run. You have to have your values straight. You have to have the reason for being in this industry at the onset. And I think you have all those boxes checked. And I'm happy to say you're one of our clientele, and I'm happy to push your product and bring attention to Prairie Grass Corporation as we move forward. So thank you again for taking the time to spend with us. Everybody, that's a wrap for today's show. Next week we have another show with Good Buds. And as I wrap this up, I remember to keep everybody asking, what's above your plants? And ladies, have a great afternoon.
Thanks so much. See you later.
All right, take care.
Okay, bye.